everybody. I want you to welcome a friend of mine and a fellow independent developer, Jesse Jenkins. Hey, Jesse, how you doing?
How's it going?
Jesse and I have
Amazing.
known each other for a little while now, about a year or so, and he was introduced by a friend of ours, Levon, who's a member of our cast, by the way, folks. And he's working on some really cool stuff. The first of which is a game called, what's it called, Jesse?
Eggstinct. Yeah. Eggstinct.
Eggstinct. What is Extinct about?
So, Eggstinct is kind of a play on like traditional platformer games, akin to like Super Mario 64, Spyro, that kind of thing. And what we wanted to do with it is kind of make it more geared towards multiplayer and some of the more like physics-based, goofy, cooperative games that we've seen kind of coming out in recent years. So it's the focus is really on just trying to create like a really fun, multiplayer experience with your friends. Making it where you can sit down in front of a couch with your kids or your friends or even just play online and just get into some goofy prehistoric chaos.
I like that prehistoric chaos. It's also what's now they have a word for that, right? Where we put the friends together and play, which I think it's actually a fun genre, and I don't know why they call it what they're calling it. You know what I mean? You know the word I'm talking about?
What, friend slop?
Friend slop. Yeah, why are they calling
Yeah.
it slop? Because it's freaking a blast.
Yeah, I think that the reason that people are calling it slop is because typically like the development cycles for those games are really, really small.
Mhm.
And they like go in intentionally with really small budgets to just try and make a game that you play with people for like a few hours that's fun, kind of arcadey, but mostly focused on that multiplayer interaction on the players themselves creating the interactions rather than the game providing that interaction with you. And I
And you're
think
you're
like
doing
I know,
both though. You've got single player and co-op in there. And you've
yeah,
got you've got something that is lot of times is overlooked is the split screen stuff.
yeah. No, I've been really like I've been dying on a hill when it comes to that because I don't know, like I think that being able to sit down in front of a TV and play a game and not like if you have to buy four PlayStations and get four subscriptions to PlayStation Plus and or four Steam accounts and buy the game five times to be able to play with your fucking family, it's just it's overkill. Like I want the games that we produce to be able to like be usable. you
Yeah,
know
you want it to be accessible. And
yeah.
honestly, the only way these games tend to find a market is that way. You've got to be able to share them because people are there's so much stuff out there to buy now. It's really hard to find and to navigate the marketplace. And so, but you didn't start indie. You've worked on some heavy hitter stuff before.
Yeah, kind of heavy. I mean, I guess you could call it that. I don't know. Like I feel like since I'll give like a little brief history of my journey.
Sure.
But I started out as a DJ and music producer. Went on a couple of like US tours, played music, made some releases on some like really small international labels. But that's where I started, and eventually I was able to get a gig in the games industry thanks to Levon, who we spoke of earlier.
Mhm.
He got me a job working with this company called Cradle Games on a game called Hellpoint, and I basically did all of the DLC audio for that game. It's like a sci-fi Souls-like. It was really fucking
It's
cool.
it's a very cool game. I agree. Yeah, I like
Very
it.
cool game. But had a blast doing that. Had like made a pretty good connection with the folks there. And after that, Star Wars was like, hey, I mean, Levon was like, I'm working on a Star Wars game. I could use, uh some help on this. And so he reached out to me. I got contracted. Eventually got hired internally, promoted. And ended up being the technical audio designer on Star Wars Hunters, which was a fucking super cool game. It's kind of like an Overwatch Star Wars clone for mobile. Um, Sadly, after that game launched, it didn't do as successful as they'd have liked. It was a live service game. They shut it the fuck down, which was heartbreaking. But I had a lot of really good moments on that. Before that got shut down, though, I transitioned over to another team under the because I was working for Take Two Zynga, um, and I was working on an unannounced AAA RPG game. Um, and yep, a couple months after I started there, that game, that studio got shut down.
That's happening
Um,
a lot right now there's turmoil in our industry. It's
mhm.
impossible to ignore the fact that AI has disrupted so much, and
But
people are making decisions without really knowing what it can and can't do, and it's cost a lot of people their jobs, and
yeah,
gamers are going to make games.
I think that it's not just AI. I think it is a massive clusterfuck of things happening at the same time. Like I was able to. I can't really speak to who I spoke to because I just out
Sure,
of
that's fine.
respect for you know but I spoke to a pretty prominent person at my previous studio, and they were basically like, yeah, the tariffs were a big reason why we're not able to why we're shutting down some of these games and studios. And then another person told me COVID hiring bloat, like how tons of companies hired thousands upon thousands of people during COVID because of
All
the big
true.
gaming boom. And then AI came in and was replacing a lot. Like it was just a lot of shit happening at the same time,
Yeah.
and on top of that, what larger like companies like Microsoft do, they'll come in and they'll buy up a bunch of studios, and they'll get games released, and then because they are able to make the money from those games after buying out the studios, there's no point in having the
They
team there
park the
anymore.
bus.
you
They
know
park the bus, man. IP sits there dead. It's like, and they're not the only ones to do that though. I mean,
yeah,
a lot of larger publishers are sitting on just tons and tons of IP. Some of which is being brought back through remasters and stuff like that, which is interesting. But basically it's created what I think is a bubble of indie development, and it's
yeah,
very hard. Like you've come from the the music industry, where you're used to promoting your own stuff, right? Well,
yeah,
most game developers they know how to make games, but they're not used to promoting anything,
yeah,
so, they're able to work with a screen, not with people or know what drives things. And so it's all new. So it's kind of why our show exists. We're trying to help them find a
mhm.
market, and we'll see how successful that is. It's going to depend. Why don't we show your game, man? Why don't we show Extinct? Let's see what's up.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Let me get it pulled up here.
So how long have you been working on Extinct?
So I got laid off, or my studio got shut down last June, so about a year now.
All right, all right.
Yeah. Well, no, I was technically working on a different game um at that time, but it wasn't until June, July, August. So it's around August, September of last year that I started working
That's
on
when I met you,
Eggstinct.
actually, I think
Yeah.
is Yeah, and it's cool. I like the idea. I like the principle. It's a fun. I like the spirit that you're going for. You know what I mean? The Especially today, we need more fun in the world. There we
Yeah.
go. Look at that. Nice.
All right. So yeah, kind of the premise behind Extinct is you are you're what we're calling a floposaur, and the floposaurs are a helpful breed of dino. They recognize that the asteroid is about to come and destroy everything, and so they want to help all their dino friends to save their eggs. And so basically the point of this is you're gonna go around and do everything you can to help your fellow dinos save their eggs before the asteroid comes and destroys everything. But all of that narratively aside, it's kind of trying to be a lot of different things. And like we've got PvP elements, we've got cooperative elements, we've got single player elements. We've got a lot of different things that we're kind of cooking for this to be. So it initially kind of started out as what you would call friend slop, but it's evolved into something much more. Let me. And this is also still early development footage, by the way.
Mhm.
So yeah. You can see it's got kind of like the standard platformer mechanics, some jumping, um, traditional movement. Um,
I'm hoping that was an
there's
enemy and not a friend.
yeah, yeah, they're enemies. Now, okay.
So what
But
do
yeah,
the
you
eggs
go
do
around.
here? What are those eggs doing there for you?
So these eggs are just kind of like uh, if I can actually score it. Um, these are just kind of placed around randomly. You're saving the eggs, so just traditional platformer style. They're kind of pre-placed, and you kind of make sure that you can kind of like if you fail to save the egg, it just respawns. Because this is like a traditional platformer
Gotcha.
for these levels. We've got a couple of different modes where the stakes are a little different, but basically you kind of traverse the environment with your friends, find the eggs, look for secrets, um, you know, and just kind of explore and see how far you can go, what you can get your score. You can see at the bottom of my screen here, I've got these little kind of score updates. So if I like make different moves, I can increase my style score basically.
Nice. And the this is now we're showing single player right now, which is just you playing, but how many people can this you could actually play this level with how many at the same time?
You can play with up to 4 people.
Awesome.
Yeah, and that's split screen and online co-op.
Nice. I love the the graphic look of it all, the
Thank you
artistic
so
look.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made the dinosaur. I also did all of the voice recordings for the dinosaur. I'm all the little blah blah blah.
Yeah, those are fun.
Ah,
Oh, he got you. That's okay though. Now, do you have a number of lives in this, or are you just infinite lives, or what are you doing?
um, yeah. So right now I had to respawn because I broke,
Oh,
but
okay. That's a feature.
yeah, it's not a bug, not a bug at all. Um, ah,
Back to
okay.
back to the bottom.
But yeah, there you do have infinite lives right now. We're kind of like working out some of the details to try and make it more like just mechanically interesting to that degree. Give it a little bit more of a little bit more stakes, I would say, because right
Hmm.
now you can just kind of keep going forever, which is, fun to a degree. Like we want this to be kind of accessible to everyone, and so we're trying to figure out a good medium to make it complex and also kind of difficult in its own right. You know what I mean?
I do.
Where like someone can play with their family and still be able to navigate everything.
Yes,
And
this is
so this part I have to go and find all of the crystals. So again, kind of traditional platformer style stuff, you gotta complete puzzles, navigate the environment. This environment was kind of the actual art itself is various assets that we've purchased, but the actual environment itself was constructed by Toby,
ah,
the our environment artist. He's super super amazing at what he does. Works so hard and just has a really good eye for this kind of stuff. So the overall visual aesthetic of this game would be nothing like what it is without Toby, and even without some of our recent 3D artists who have joined on, like Andy and uh-oh.
uh-oh. That's
Well,
okay. Looks like we've
yep.
got a
Fatal
that's
error.
no. You got
Yay.
a fatal error? That happens.
Yep.
That happens.
Well, either way, I can kind of show some of the different parts of the game anyway.
That's all right. We can let me pull myself back up here. Yeah, that was that's still you can get a good look at it, and I like the fact that so you mentioned Toby, you mentioned Andy, you got a few people now. People can actually help you play test this right now, right?
Yeah, so we do have a community
Mhm.
where that we're trying to build and get people more involved in helping us to play test, helping us to find out some cool stuff that we can do for the game, new additions and things like that, Um,
Yeah, and so we'll put that below in the YouTube comments. We'll have the links for you, like where they can find you. Now, I'm sure you're growing your wish list, if I'm right. We're growing the
oh
wish.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. We're working on that. Um, I think more of the biggest focus right now, as opposed to wish lists, is going to be, um, just getting people involved and
Yeah.
trying to see how we can make the game more fun.
Well, that's it.
We're leaning towards early access, so we're hoping that by hopefully August sometime, we'll be able to have a properly playable version of the game where we can get early access going and keep building the game from there. Because our development team is obviously we've been bootstrapping this for about a year, and it's about time we try to get some resources to continue development and kind of just get the overall vibe of what people think of the game.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's almost exclusively an indie development thing. And I think it's the wave of the future where, people you want people to have access, you want their feedback and the game gets better because of it. You know what I mean? Like used to
Yeah.
be you just hid the game. I'm getting pinged on the side here from you can't turn teams off apparently. Who knew? Even though you could close it and say busy and do not disturb, team still wants to tell you what's going on. Sorry, look at you. So this is like kind of a boss monster fight, I'm guessing right now.
Yeah, this is a work in progress boss fight.
Right, cool,
And
cool, cool.
basically you hit the different you get the rocks that fall and you try to hit different points on the enemy.
Oh, good.
And then
Gotcha.
you can also jump up and grab these big pillars and kind of like try to knock it down on the enemy. But
Right.
I missed, obviously. But it'll still break it.
Cool, cool, cool. Well, I'm getting the Zoom warning because I'm a cheap son of a gun that we're running out of time. So I'm gonna pull this out and I'm gonna wrap this up. This looks really good. It looks very promising. We'll show the links. People can get involved. I believe you have a Discord channel. You have a wish list. We'll probably put some of this up on AU Horde as well, so you can, we'll update there. We'll put the longer video if you want to watch it, we'll put it all there. I think it's super exciting. So you're thinking early access sometime, what, like August maybe, or?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow, looks great, man. You've been working hard on this. I know that for a fact, and I know it's fun. I've had the pleasure of playing it and being involved, and I think it's got a big future, and I love what you've done with it. So I love what you've done with the place. It's so pretty. All right, man. Look, is there anything else you want to tell the fans or the what out there? What to look forward to? You got anything else coming?
I am working on a couple of other prototypes.
Yeah.
Keeping those under the wraps for now.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean the goal is to more than anything, create some new jobs for people affected in the industry.
Amen.
Like whenever I lost my job, I knew I wasn't going to be able to find something doing audio. And I mean, like game design is my passion anyway. Like I've always loved coming up with game ideas,
Yep,
prototyping stuff, building things, so that was like kind of like a big transitional moment for me to just start making something. And it's really insane how far all of this has come since just being a sound designer, you know what I mean?
I
But
agree.
yeah, I mean, the goal is to make a bunch of games, and I mean, I don't think I'll ever be at the point where I can like have like a 50-person studio, but I don't really want that. I just want to have a
Yeah,
small team of people where we can just keep making games and like support ourselves. I want to keep it low and impact a few people as much as I can.
I
So,
appreciate that. I appreciate that, man. That's Jesse Jenkins, everybody. That's Extinct, and we'll be checking in with him over the next, probably 6, 8 weeks as he gets new and cool stuff going, and as the build gets better. And you can join in and help him. We'll give those links in our YouTube video, and we will see you later, man. Thanks for doing this.
awesome. Thank you.
Talk to you later.
Later.